Friends, I will wait for many things, but I will not wait for Christ, because Christ is born and God is with us. Sometimes a solitary candle burns most brightly. I was 15 years old and I'd just gotten off the bus after school. It was a dreary afternoon in late November, the kind that Tom Waits crooned about in his miserable ballad named after the same month. November has tied me to a cold, dead tree. Get word to April to rescue me. Like most days, I had to walk a mile or two from the bus stop to my part-time job at the local supermarket. I hated everything that awaited me there. The endless stocking of shelves, the mopping of cold linoleum floors, the taking out of trash. I especially dreaded the butcher shop in the back and its refuse, hauling trash bags filled with unspeakable things that leaked onto my shoes through the inevitable tears in the plastic. The only thing I had to look forward to that day, or most days, were the 2 hot dogs that I had planned to get from the 7-Eleven on the way to work. But even as I drizzled a generous portion of mustard onto them, they gave me no joy. As I continued my journey through the soggy, empty streets toward the town and country market that day, I was feeling especially low. Girl troubles, among other things. Wasted love, a spark that failed to catch fire. I don't remember the details, only the feelings. The sky hung above me like lead, heavy and dark. I had my Walkman with me, clipped to my belt, as always, and I was listening to a piano ballad from Vangelis called Memories of Green, a haunting tune that longs for better days. It was from the Blade Runner soundtrack, if that gives you any indication as to its mood. I felt like I didn't have a hope in the world. But then, just as I felt tears welling up in my eyes, I shambled past a house. It was an ordinary house in every regard, a single-story home with bland aluminum siding, just like all of the others around it. But there in the living room window burned a single flame. It wasn't even real, just an electric candle plugged into the wall in anticipation of Christmas. But it was enough to catch my eye, enough to make me stop and stare. From where I stood on that rainy street, it was the only light in the world. It drew me in, and I was suddenly and inexplicably filled with all of the hope, joy, and love that I had been lacking. All I needed was just a little warmth, a little light. It seems like a trivial thing, I know, but 25 years later, I have never forgotten that moment in time. Sometimes the world feels hopelessly bleak. You don't need to hear another laundry list of the world's problems from me. You know what they are. We are worried, anxious, sometimes even panicked. And sometimes we are unspeakably sad. To quote a ship's captain from a book I once read, we might feel most at home with an alarm bell in one hand and a glass of knock-me-down in the other. Hope, joy, and love can feel like resources that have been stripped clean and sold to the highest bidder. But that was the world that Jesus inhabited too. It's the world he abides in even now, like a light that continues to burn in the darkness. And it is our sacred duty as the church to tend that flame as we have for 2,000 years. being the church, it is our joyous and solemn duty to carry the fire. Because sometimes a solitary candle burns most brightly, and maybe it's enough to change everything. Friends, after we sing this final hymn, as we leave the sanctuary today, I invite you to follow me as we carry the light of Christ out into the world, or into the lobby at least. It's all very symbolic. Where I will offer a final blessing. So now, friends, let us stand and sing.